Encanto. It took them 5 years after doing a couple of sequels and an amazingly immersive action flick, but Disney Animation is finally back with a brand new original musical for their 60th animated feature. But this isn't any ordinary musical. Oh, no. This is one with songs by the one and only Lin-Manuel Miranda, who's been having the biggest year of his movie career yet. Seriously, I've heard many people say that 2021 is the year of Lin-Manuel Miranda, and with good reason. The highly acclaimed film adaptation of In the Heights was released, his more than a decade-long passion project was finally created with Vivo, he made his directorial debut with Tick, Tick, Boom, and now his second Disney animated feature that he was involved with came out, where he teamed up with some of the guys behind Zootopia, Brian Howard and Jared Bush, to bring that beloved Disney magic to Colombia and have audiences meet the newest members of the Disney family. So now that we're entering the home of the Madrigals, will the movie be as magical as the house itself? Or should Mirabel also save the movie while on her journey? Let's find out! The story. At first, this may sound like a familiar story about the protagonist with no powers of their own, surrounded by other characters with powers, and they have to be the ones who's gotta save the day from great danger. Kind of like a Colombian version of Sky High or My Hero Academia. However, just like the casita itself, once you enter into this film, there is so much more than you could ever expect. Technically, yes, the story is about Mirabel on her journey of trying to save the family's home. But while that is what it's trying to explain on the surface, the movie is actually about family. In a way, everyone in the Madrigals is as significantly important as much as Mirabel herself, even if she's the one the film follows the most. The reason why I say this is because everything about this family is the core of the whole feature. From the world building, to the character dynamics, to the mood of the narrative, to the message of the meaning of family. Everything is built around the Madrigals, and the team at Disney put their highest priority to make them as emotionally powerful and relatable as possible. And honestly, it works. It works very well. A great example is the role it gave to the family, not just for the film, but for the entire community that lives close to the casita. The Madrigals didn't get chosen to have powers or live in a magical house because they got lucky. They are the protectors of the village, and they have to use their powers to help everyone there as much as they want to help themselves, which puts a ridiculous amount of pressure on everyone and highlight the importance of the magic where, in a way, they are also responsible for the world building.
We must protect our family.
This is my chance. I will save the magic. Wait, how do I save the magic?
But what is possibly the most powerful aspect of the feature and what really make the emotional scenes hit is the family's relationship with each other. I'll say right now that there is a great balance of musical fun, intense action, and quietly calm moments. Each of them does a great job to keep the engagement strong and maintain audiences' attention throughout the picture by giving them a variety of sensations. But it's the parts when Mirabel gets to spend some time alone with one of the family members where it brings out the most emotion and see how the bond strengthened that ends up delivering some of the most powerful moments of the film. Not because they're attached to some big song or how they crank up the danger to the max, but how it emphasizes that human connection by helping one another in a way that feels very relatable. Those are the scenes that highlight what family really is about.
Recipes are remedies for real. If you're impressed, imagine how I feel, Mom.
The one thing I will criticize is that maybe the conclusion could have been handled a little better. Without spoiling anything, it does wrap up pretty quickly, and it does deliver an ending that is a little too perfect for their situation. It doesn't spoil the mood, and I do consider this a minor problem, but it was something that a few small adjustments could have really made this fully spectacular. Yes, this is the kind of movie that does deliver so much to the audience, but the story is responsible for carrying the heart of the picture and the message of family, And they are what make the foundation of Encanto incredibly strong. The animation. Call it what you will, Disney magic, the Madrigal magic, whatever's in that magic, it makes the movie look beautiful. The animation is bursting with life and really make the most out of every scene and every corner of the house to make it a visual wonder. Starting off with the designs, this does a magnificent job to mix that classic Disney style with some Colombian culture in order to have that sense of familiarity, but also something new at the same time. Not to mention how each character is meant to emphasize either their gift or their personality to have them stand out amongst each other. That, and considering how the music has a fast pace to make the numbers very lively, there's also a noticeable amount of hard work put onto the character animation so that they can keep up with the speed and present some very dynamic movements and poses. This is especially prominent during the songs where a lot of choreography is involved. Seriously, it's thanks to the animation where some of the numbers can feel more like a major concert, an elaborate music video, or something built more for Broadway.
It was my wedding day.
It was our wedding day.
We were getting ready and there wasn't a cloud in the sky.
No clouds allowed in the sky.
But the one thing that can overshadow the Madrigals themselves visually is the casita itself. Disney seems to be on a roll with turning something so ordinary into spiritual successors of Aladdin's carpet, rather they be the ocean from Moana or Gale from Frozen 2. In the case of Encanto, the entire house acts like its own living character, taking advantage of each individual tile and appliance to make the place look like it has its own personality. It's kind of like it has that same sense of whimsy like the living objects in Beauty and the Beast. That, and it contains a lot of surprises with the backgrounds where some of the rooms are shown to be even bigger than they seem, completely themed to the person's respective gift like the wildlife in Antonio's room or Isabella's elegant flower room. This is where it highlights another strong element of the animation, how it pays close attention to detail, where every element that's in the house plays a vital role to both the family and the place itself.
Let's go!
The details are also prominent on the costumes to give more of that Colombian authenticity to the look and, again, describe a bit about the personalities. Oh, and did I forget to mention that this is Disney's most colorful movie in years? With all the different animals, the family's gifts, musical numbers, and more, color can also play another important role to set the tone of the scenes, playing extensively with the extremes where they can go from massively vibrant to seriously monotone. And speaking of the gifts, this also highlights one of Disney's greatest CG strengths, the use of effects. Considering the variety of powers featured and the lengths that Mirabel goes through to save her home, this is what makes the magic feel credible, and the team at Disney unleashed everything they got to add that spark in every moment. Whether they be the magic of the casita, the family's gifts to include that sense of wonder, or the action scenes when Mirabel puts herself in peril. And when the scenes get intense, they can have viewers on the edge of their seats as the movie emphasizes the danger that she's in that can quickly reach the levels of life-threatening. It's probably no surprise that Disney did a spectacular job with the animation here, but this time, I could say that they've probably outdone themselves. The characters. While not necessarily a huge family with a significant number of people included, there are still a dozen members of the Madrigals that all live under one roof. For a movie like this, it can be quite a challenge to take a large quantity of characters like that and make each of them stand out in their own way and have an important role in the narrative at the same time. In the case of Encanto, however, while there may be some that have bigger parts than others, each of them does their job well of making an impact and play with their unique personalities to give them some charm. Starting with the girl without a gift, Mirabel can be described as the outcast archetype. The kind of protagonist that is obviously different from everyone else and is often perceived as a screw-up, no matter what they do to try to fit in. Not the most original character, sure, but that won't stop her from being a greatly written character. She may be classed as an outcast, but her emotions make her both relatable and genuine. Due to her lack of powers, she wants to do the best she can to help the family out, but she ends up mostly feeling like she's in the way. Sure, she grew to be over it and moved on from the fact that she's the only one without a gift, but there is still a part of her that has heard about it, and that she's not as special as her siblings and cousins. In a way, saving the casita from losing its magic is something that she wants to do for both her family and herself. She has shown on several occasions that she loves her family and cares about them so that they can be happy, but she also wants to prove that she could be as resourceful as everyone else, even without being granted a gift.
I am just as special as the rest of my family.
Who wants more pink?
All right, guys, where do I drop the wagon?
Maybe your gift is being in denial.
On her side of the family, her parents, Julieta and Augustine, are the ones with the most heart, with the mom being very caring with her healing powers, and Augustine is a little clumsy that probably needs Julieta's gift the most. As for her sisters, Luisa and Isabella, they both face serious pressure with their reputation in both the family and the community, and highlight the Madrigal's hidden problem. One is constantly overworking herself by using her super strength for the sake of being helpful, and the other tries so hard to maintain a perfect image to the point that she's being someone that she's not. Moving to the other side of the family, there's Mirabel's aunt and uncle, Peppa and Felix. Peppa has the ability to control the weather, which can lead to some crazy results with her mood swings and is the most emotional of the Madrigals, while Felix maintains the positive vibes of the family and helps his wife to keep her in a sunny mood, if you will. As for their kids, there's Dolores, the gossipy cousin who knows every secret with her ability to hear everything, Camilo, the jokester of the family with shape-shifting powers, and Antonio, the youngest member with a close connection to Mirabel and just got his gift of talking to animals.
Let me help you. The rats told me everything. Don't eat those.
The one who's in charge of this family is Abuela, Mirabel's grandmother, who found the magic that led to the creation of their home and the village. Because she's the matriarch, she's responsible for keeping everyone safe. But at the same time, she knows that the house is falling apart because the magic is dying and wants to do whatever she can to make sure no one knows about the issue and that she could keep the fate of the casita under control. And then there's Bruno, the one family member exiled from the Madrigals. Without saying too much, his ability is being the bearer of bad news and is not looked highly upon for it. You'd think that would be an easy setup for a villain, but I could say now that he is anything but. In fact, when you find out where he's been, he's actually quite sympathetic and serves as a key to the next step in how Mirabel can save the magic. The movie also tries to have him play more as a bit of a comic relief, and while I can say that the humor is pretty good in this movie, his comedy is the one that feels rather unnecessary. But I won't say it's because of John Leguizamo though. Unless he was just doing some improv, he actually did a solid job as the voice.
Mirabel, the fate of the family is gonna come down to you.
These characters are not just characters. They're one of Disney's best examples of a family. They're not perfect and can cause some conflict amongst each other, but the love and support that they have for one another is undeniably there. And that is what keeps both the magic and this movie lovingly strong. The songs. Once again, Disney brought back Lin-Manuel Miranda to supply the songs, and since this is unofficially the year of Lin-Manuel Miranda in movies, like I said earlier, he delivered another example of how he can turn a film into a musical extravaganza. Like what he did before with Moana and Vivo, the musical numbers offer a combination of native music from the movie's location, which in this case is Colombia, and modern hip-hop. The result isn't just another set of great hits that help give an extra spark to the feature in a way that is recognizably Disney, But some work very well as their own single by delivering a strong, relatable message that I can imagine will easily resonate with many. It also helps in the context of the feature that most of the family members get to have their own moment in the spotlight next to Mirabel, either highlighting an important aspect of the family or to emphasize their personality. The movie begins with the family Madrigal, which perfectly serves as the film's introduction, presenting the setting, the characters, and the tone that audiences will experience.
The home of the family, Madrigal, we're on our way, where all the people are fantastical and magical.
Next up is Waiting on a Miracle, Mirabel's big solo number, and possibly the standout song of the picture. It highlights her inner struggle with not being as special as the rest of her family, and hopes that one day she can prove her worth to everyone.
Who I am inside, so what can I do? I'm sick of waiting on a miracle, so here I go.
After that is Louisa's number, Surface Pressure, which is probably the most hip-hop song of the movie that presents the stress of being under a growing amount of pressure and expectation, and how she feels like one wrong move and everything will collapse under her.
Or crack, the straw in the stack, that breaks the camel's back. What breaks the camel's back?
Maybe I overdo it.
Yep.
Then there's We Don't Talk About Bruno, the number of Peppa and Felix's family with a more tango twist that explains how the Madrigals view Bruno as more of a bad omen.
What a joy you stay, but anyway, we don't talk about Bruno, no.
After that is What Else Can I Do?, which serves a similar purpose to Surface Pressure, but this time reflects on Isabella, where she discovers that she can do much more than maintain a perfect image.
What could I do if I just grew what I was feeling in the moment? You know where you're going.
And finally, there's All of You. I can't explain too much about this one because this is the finale meant to tie up all the loose ends. Admittedly, I find this to be the weakest song of the feature since the lyrics feel like they're spelling out what's on screen. Not a bad song, since it does have a nice positive spirit, a good beat, and highlight the importance of family, but not the best way to cap off the movie either.
The miracle is you, not some gift, just you. The miracle is you, all of you, all of you.
Like The Family, I'd hesitate to say that the soundtrack is perfect, but when the songs shine, they become the best moments of the feature when they present their gift to amaze and inspire. That candle doesn't just provide magic to the family so that they can protect their village and gain some extraordinary powers. It also has enough to fuel this movie to become absolutely magical. Encanto is a sensational animated feature that brings back that beloved Disney magic into an original production to create something new and exciting. While it's hard to see this amongst Disney's greatest animated achievements in the levels of Fantasia or Beauty and the Beast, it is still a powerful movie that can leave a great impact to its audience with a heartfelt story about family, beautiful and vibrant animation, a whole family of lovable and creative characters, and inspiring songs that result in Disney's latest unforgettable experience. By the way, before the movie starts, they present a new animated short called Far From the Tree, which is about a raccoon looking out for their kid. I wouldn't say that it's as good as Encanto, but it is a cute and heartwarming short that talks about parenthood and giving your children the opportunity you never had at their age. This is a movie that I can confidently say that this is a must-watch. In fact, I'd even say that this is worth returning to theaters if you haven't been there in a long time. But especially, this is one of those movies that truly define a family film. The kind that you bring the whole family over and have their bond be strengthened after watching it. It's films like this why I'm always excited whenever Disney releases a new animated feature. And that's exactly why I'm giving this the Animat seal of approval. As a Disney fan myself, this feature makes me feel right at home.
And that's why coffee's for grown-ups.